So, hello everybody, and welcome to the Tech Trailblazers Founders on Fire podcast. And I'm delighted that today I am joined by Roha Raheel. Hello, Roha. How are
Hi.
you?
Oh, I'm good. It's finally Friday, so I couldn't be better.
Fantastic. So, obviously, you are part of the founding team of CyberSisters, who were the Tech Trailblazers Diversity Trailblazers last year. So, congratulations. And yeah, we were talking a little bit before we sort of discussed, you were coming on here, was that it'd be great to understand a little bit more about you and your co-founders, who unfortunately are not able to join us today, but also then, of course, also talk about CyberSisters, which is looks amazing. So I'm sure that's a lot of work. So it's an opportunity for you to tell us a little bit more about what you do and who you are. So please, floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, there's a lot there. So my name is Roha, like you've already introduced me, and I have been in the cyber industry for just going on to 7 years now. It feels like ages ago. And I've had a really interesting journey. Started off at like Sainsbury's, was doing their security awareness program, then moved to insurance, did some more technical roles like security engineering, went on to marketing, did a bit of cyber improvements, vulnerability management, information security I've done, and currently I'm delivering an L&D program for a major bank. So I've had a really interesting career. I think we talk about CyberSisters and the birth of CyberSisters, and it's definitely come from my experiences throughout my career, both positive and negative. Like, it's been peaks and troughs throughout the different roles that I've been in. But there's been times in my career where I think I've really struggled with just being the only female, the youngest person, the only person of color on teams. And there's a lot of things you've got to deal with that I don't think I appreciated when I was at university. I just thought, oh, you just go into the world of work and that's it. Like, you don't really know. Like, I'd never really worked in corporate before that. And I think it was through those real difficult moments is when I bonded with people, some really, really important people in my life. And that's where CyberSisters came from. So the birth was very organic. It was all based on our experiences and how we bonded over those experiences and how we wanted to create that for everyone else who wants that. Because I think it could be quite lonely, and finding your tribe can be quite a difficult thing. And we definitely want to create something that people feel a part of, regardless of where they've come from.
So would you like to just sort of, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you did meet your co-founders and just a little bit about them?
Okay, well,
which I think is always easier than talking about yourself, right?
It is, because there's amazing things to be said about them. So, co-founder of CyberSisters is Shayla Dos Santos, and I actually met her at Sainsbury's, my first ever job out of uni. And it was really interesting because before I was introduced to her, I already knew about her. Everybody spoke really highly of this Shayla. She's amazing. She's so good at what she does. And when I spoke to her for the first time, I went in saying, everyone is talking about you. Like, I had to meet you. Like, who are you? But where we really bonded, which is a funny story that I actually tell quite openly. So fresh out of university, really eager to please and leave an impression, get people to like me. And I was on a call with this guy who the first thing he said on a call was like, "You look really fat today." And I remember just being like on this call thinking, oh my God, like I feel really offended.
It sounds like one of my elderly aunties when they see you, because they go, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And
wow.
He just like, and he was very like chill about it. Like, oh, you look fat today. And I was like, oh, and he's like, have you put on weight? And I'm like, no, like you literally cannot see my body. You can just see my face. Like, anyway. And then he just made a comment and said something like, well, if cybersecurity doesn't work out for you, you can always lose weight and become the queen of Bollywood. And I, at that moment, just like kind of laughed, but inside I was literally, and I turned, like, got off the phone and I was sobbing because I was like, I have no idea what to do. Like, no one's ever told me that I ever had to face people like this, and B, how do I deal with it? Like, I'm really young. I've literally just finished university. It's my first ever job out of corporate. Where it's COVID. I have like, I'm just trying to find my feet in this massive company, and I just cried, and I just didn't know why. And at the same time, I was like, why are you crying? But I was like, but that offended me. And should it offend me? I don't know. Like maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being silly. And it was then when I called Shayla. And I said, Shayla, like, are you free? I really need to speak to you. And she was like, yeah, I'm free. And then she called me and I just burst out crying on the phone. And I will never, ever forget her reaction. Her face dropped and she's like, what's wrong? And I couldn't get my words together. I'm like, he just got me fat. I don't know what to do. And she was like, no way. Like, that's unacceptable. Like, you have to raise it. Like, and it was basically, that's when I became really close to it. That was the start of this beautiful relationship. And from there, we just became really good friends. And she moved on to different roles. She's awesome. She's amazing. She's probably my favorite person in cybersecurity that I know. I just love the way she carries herself. And, she went on and started doing program delivery, and then she became head of delivery, and she progressed really quickly. And I remember when I'd recently gotten married and bought a new house, and I was really struggling to find what really drives me. And I think I found really quickly that my career wasn't what fulfills me. And finding fulfillment has been a big thing in my life, and it means a lot. And that's when I asked her to become my mentor. And I was like, please, can you just be my mentor? And from there, we were back in touch with each other. And that's when CyberSisters was born. It was, we had this day where my manager had said something to me and I was just pissed off. And her manager had made a comment, and I messaged her saying, I wish there was a company just for women in cyber. And that was the birth of CyberSisters. But till today, she is someone who always inspires me, just the way she carries herself. She's just an amazing person to have by your side, and she's someone who will always make you believe in yourself. And I always say it to her, and she always says it to me, but I would not want to do this with anyone but her. Like, she's just the perfect person. And we also have Blair, who we brought on board after we founded the business, and again, amazing human. I met her when I was working at Intact, and just someone immediately I bonded with, and we've become like a trio, and it's just this beautiful friendship. And I always look at us three whenever we meet up, whatever we do, and I'm like, this is what I want for everyone else. Like, this is what I want for other women in cyber, like this sisterhood that we've built, and we know it's real because we have it between us, and I want other people to be part of it too.
Fantastic.
Like, I can talk. I feel like I've been talking a lot, sorry.
No, well, you are the guest. So if I'm talking a lot, then we know we've got a problem, right? That's not how everybody else is bored about me and my stories. They're interested in you. So obviously it's been running for a couple of years. A very happy accident, I guess, out of a very nasty situation you found yourself that had a really nice outcome. So weirdly, this has actually been a positive. But they do say sometimes that it is the grit that makes the pearl. And obviously this is one of those situations. So tell us a little bit about how CyberSisters works. What are you actually doing with people? What kind of stuff are you involved with? How are you getting women in cyber involved with your activities?
Yeah. So there's two sides to CyberSisters, and I'll talk about the side that I think everybody probably will be able to relate to. So like everything we do with CyberSisters is about building a community and having that sisterhood. And I think that sisterhood is really important because when I left university, I think everyone used to say, oh, we need more women in the industry, but women don't really like cybersecurity. Like, they're not interested in the industry. And I remember when we started posting on social media, like one of our first videos got like 40,000 plays overnight, and it was all women who wanted to get into the industry, and realized quickly that actually it's not that women don't like the industry, it's just that they can't access the industry and they can't access people who can help them into the industry. So the first element of the business is our social media, our podcast, our community. We've got a book club. We've got this whole sense of community that women can join and be part of. So we have our social media pages where we post content around what women can do differently to help their CVs stand out, what kind of things they should avoid putting on their CVs, interview skills, how to stay safe online, how to keep their children safe online, but also have those conversations around and workshops around CV writing, LinkedIn updating, just bring in guest speakers from the industry and do like fireside chats and just make cybersecurity really accessible all of this is free. Like, this is all supposed to be accessible for women. Like, we don't want to make money from this. This is just helping women. So the social media side of things, and then we've got our podcast, which again is humanizing a topic and a subject that might seem really alien to a lot of people. And the podcast isn't just about like careers in cyber. It's also, you're a mom, this is what you need to do to protect your children online. And it's just being really honest, and even just managing yourselves in corporate, like that's a whole thing in itself, like burnout, how women should champion other women, and what are our experiences. And it is about really humanizing just this experience that we're all on. So that's one side of it. We've got like a book club. We talk about latest books, and something we are doing is developing an app that we can host this community. And there's more to that. Like, there's more coming on that. Like, I can't really say much more than that on it, but there is that avenue.
Another episode, another time, right?
Yeah. But then basically creating that community and making that accessible. The second side of CyberSisters is when we work with corporate companies and where we deliver workshops to their women in cybersecurity, and we get them to upskill and talk about personal brand, talk about like how you can present a very technical subject in front of execs, and what your career trajectory looks like, and how companies can support women. So that's the other side. So we've worked with a number of really big companies where we've delivered these workshops, and again, it's all about like, you're already in cybersecurity and you want to progress. So you're probably like entry level, mid-level, you want to progress. This is what you should do, and this is how you can stand out.
Fantastic. And that's a nice little segue to something else that I mentioned I'd quite like to talk to you about. 2 letters. Can you guess what they are?
Yes, I can.
AI, artificial intelligence. We would one of the things I wanted to chat to you about, because obviously you are, within the sisterhood, there are obviously women who have got longer careers. They have maybe progressed to CISO, they may be CTO, they may be CIO, but with a cyber background or with an interest in cyber, or even be, CEOs of startups or organizations that are in the vendor community. But obviously we are hearing a lot, and I'd be curious on what you are seeing perhaps within that this is having quite an impact on cybersecurity roles for people within the industry, and potentially perhaps most for entry-level positions. So I'd love your take on what you're seeing from, your members, from your sisterhood.
I think there's a few elements to this, and there's a few things that I've seen and just experienced, and even where I'm working right now, just the trends we're seeing. I think the first thing I will call out is, I don't know if this is because of AI, I don't know if it's since COVID, but I think just generally those entry level roles just seem to have disappeared like off the face of like everywhere, of LinkedIn, everywhere. And what I have found is there's a lot of women that have reached out who have finished university, they've studied cybersecurity, and they cannot get their foot in the door. So there's a few people that I can like I can think at the top of my head who have said, there's one lady, she's amazing, she's awesome, but she finished uni 2 years ago and she just cannot get her foot through the door. And she's had so many interviews, and it's that whole generic response, like no one really investing in it. And I think that's the first thing I'm seeing. I don't know if that's because of AI. I don't know if it's just how the industry has shifted since COVID, but I think more generally, younger people, especially cybersecurity graduates, are really struggling to find jobs and find entry-level roles, which really makes me question whether that's the right route into cyber to begin with. I think the other thing that I am seeing definitely is like the AI generated CVs, which I think we can all talk to. I was on this panel, I think it was last year, and there was a hiring manager, and he was the head of information security, and we were giving a talk to university students, and he was talking about how he had a role opened and he had like 5,000 applications, and he said just like that they were able to get down to 15, 20 because all of the other ones were all AI generated. And it was just so obvious that like I think using AI for CVs, fine, I get it, but you've got to know what's in there. It has to be your experience, and I think you've got to add your own flavor to it. And I think when we depend solely on AI to generate my CV, like it doesn't like you just know when it's an AI generated CV. And I've spoken to, again, like people who are hiring managers in the industry who said they've asked questions on people's CVs and their face goes blank. They have no idea. So I think there's a lady, is a friend of mine. She was hiring for a role, and at the bottom of this person's CV said like, I really love paddle. And my friend was like, oh, okay, like paddle, tell me about it. Like, how often do you play it? Do you love it? And her face was like, I'm sorry, what's paddle? Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And she was like, oh, like it's on your CV that you said you like. And she was like, that no idea. And she was like, straight away, I was like, oh my goodness, like you haven't even read the CV that you're applying for jobs with. So I think that definitely is a thing. But also I know companies are using AI to then also filter through CVs, which makes it so much harder because you have no idea what this AI tool is looking for. And, we have no idea what the parameters are. And I think that there has to be some biases. We have no idea. And I think the whole thing, like from my like perspective, I think this whole hiring thing is broken end to end because you're not seeing the right people. You're not, how do you know from just one conversation this person's the right fit? And I think like, again, like loads of stories around people using AI in interviews, and you can just see when like I think there's just a overall a heavy dependence on AI on both sides. I think from companies, but I think also from applicants. And I think people forget like it's you as a person that will get a job. It's not what a paper says about you.
Well, yeah, but I suppose the trick is getting through that first stage so that you can show yourself and then not pretending that you like paddle and not know what paddle is.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think around that as well, like we talk about AI a lot and like how, it's changing the world for the good or for the worse, like we don't know. But like I think for me, it's like networking with people in the industry. Like that's something AI cannot take away from you. That human element of knowing people and connecting with people once you've applied for a job and finding the hiring manager and sending them a message and going that extra mile. It's like that is still on you as a human to do. And AI is not going to be able to take that capability away from you. But it's that little thing might actually just increase your chances of visibility more than AI can ever do for you. And I think people lose that. And I think people forget that actually, at the end of the day, the person hiring for this role is a human. Like the AI is not going to conduct your interview. Yeah, it's a lot harder, but there are ways to still be visible to people. It's just about knowing how to get there.
Yeah, and that's not going to be what necessarily part of your degree course either.
No, it's not. Definitely it's not. Like, and I think that's why I question whether university and just university is the right route into cyber. And I think
Do you think that's true across all tech, or is it just for cyber?
I think it's true across all tech because like we said, like entry level roles are like evaporating, and it's like you need experience to get into a role, but you need experience to get into a role. And it's like, how do you do that? And I think if you're solely focused on the academic side without even a work placement in between, I think you're focusing on the wrong things. Like, yeah, definitely. Like when I got my job in information security and security awareness, I hadn't even got my result for my degree. And I remember I was like 6 months into this job and I messaged my manager. I'm like, oh my God, I got a first in my degree. He's like, yeah, like you still got the job, it's fine. Like, and I just realized I'm like, oh,
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now, does it?
it doesn't matter, no. And I think it's more hands-on and how you can talk about something and how you understand something. And I think from even my current role where I'm working, it's you need to understand how AI is impacting the industry and you need to be able to talk about it. And I think if you are out of the loop on AI, even just talking about it and how easy it's making things and how we all need to be aware of the dangers, not just for an interview, but I think as a person too, like in your day to day, you need to know. We had a briefing yesterday at work where they were saying that they had like these tools that had conducted like social engineering, and it took them 42 seconds to like social engineer someone. Like you need to know all of these things, and because these things will come up in interviews, and I think if you can't talk about them, I think you're missing a trick.
Well, there's so much power, as you say, deep fake video, voice recognition, mirroring, whatever. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Now people are going to wonder if we really are us. maybe we're deep fakes. I'm pretty sure I'm not one.
I mean,
I'm pretty
can't
sure
tell you
you're
about
not
me.
one.
I mean, I don't know. I can't go,
This
no.
is what people are going to say. Oh, you look too glamorous, Roha. You must be fake. You're an AI avatar.
I've not had that one yet, but I'll be flattered if someone said that, to be honest. I'll take it as a
There
compliment.
you go. There you go. So I'm a deep fake. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So other things, obviously, that you're seeing, and you've talked about what, is coming down the tracks. There's going to be an app. So I'm going to ask you a couple of other things that I thought were kind of interesting, because we actually know each other outside of this, but we didn't realize we knew each other outside of this. So to talk about, the networks within cyber, within tech, within women in cyber, within women in tech, within sort of levels. I mean, we are seeing more and more sort of away from the stuff that, maybe a WhatsApp group, might be, Slack channel, might be, let's meet up for drinks, probably a hybrid these days of those types of things. That's important, but obviously you're all going to be providing another way of doing this.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, and I think it's important because
that's for people who are already in the industry, who are kind of in the know. So it's hidden because we know about it and it's a little bit of a secret.
Yeah.
Not a massive secret, but it is a bit of a secret.
Yeah.
But it's the fact you've got a public face, so anybody can interact with you and say, hey, I'm either a woman in cyber, or I'm a woman who would like to get into cyber, or my daughter or my niece, or, whoever is interested in this. Can you help us?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's important too. The accessibility, I think, is important. And that's why we've tried to make everything accessible. Like, we get a load of DMs all the time, and we make a point to reply back to every single person, because that's the whole point of a community. Like, if people don't feel seen by you, then why should they be part of you? And I think for us, it's about making sure everyone has that voice when they need it. And even those workshops, like, I don't know anyone doing workshops on, like, CV and LinkedIn for cybersecurity for free for women to join at any point. Like, that is the whole point. Like, you are sat here with people who are leaders in the industry, and you can ask them anything. Like, and we are giving you everything on a plate. And like, we've got like Blair, that I've spoken really highly about. She's a director of cyber operations. Like, she's doing amazing. And these are really senior people that are taking time out to help the next generation and the next wave of women in the industry. So, and we did talk about it, because we were like, oh, do we monetize this? And then it was like, no, like, we don't monetize it, because that's the whole point of a community. And I think we like recently we did like make it £1.99 Rose, only because people were signing up and they're not showing up, and then other people couldn't get booked on. So we thought, like, psychologically, like, if you've paid, you want to show up and you really want to be there. And honestly, some of the feedback we've had from those sessions has been amazing. And the people who deliver those sessions, they love it, because they feel like, oh my God, we're actually giving back to the community. And do you know what I find really beautiful as well is we've got women reaching out to us from the industry saying, we want to give back. How can we be part of this? And I think that is when you've done the full 360, where it's not just women who want to break into the industry, it's women who are in the industry and want to pave the way for others. And I actually this week got a message from a lady who works at Amex, and she said, I've seen the work you do, it's amazing. How can I be part of this? And it's that really organic growth. Like, we're not chasing anyone. You're seeing us, and hopefully you're seeing yourselves in us, and then becoming part of this community. And I think, to your point on community, I think it's really, really important. And anyone who wants to break into the industry, I cannot emphasize this point enough. Like, speaking to those people, you never know what doors it's going to open. And I always tell them this story about, like, networking for me is like planting seeds everywhere you go, and you just never know what's going to blossom and what's going to come out of it. And I'll tell you, because I think this involves you too. So when I finished,
no. I should have screened this first. What's going on?
It's a help. No, it's actually quite beautiful. So when I left university and I came into the industry, I told you I was eager to please. I was like, oh my God, I want to meet people. I want a mentorship session. I want to do all of these things. And I joined this mentorship program. And at the back of it, I met this woman called Cheryl, and she's amazing. She honestly the most amazing human I know, and she's like a really senior leader at AWS, and she really helped me, and she introduced me to other people. And like 22-year-old me had no idea today that that was still going to like I'm like 7 years down the line, but I'll tell you how it all connects. So she then introduced me to Bronwyn. Okay,
The Bronwyn effect.
yeah. And it was like, oh, you've got to meet Bronwyn. She's amazing. She's so in information, cybersecurity, blah, blah, blah. So met Bronwyn, blown away by her. I was like, I'm in awe of this woman. She's amazing. After that, like, whatever, like we met Bronwyn once, spoke to her, but that was another seed planted, done. And when we kicked off CyberSisters, we were talking about, okay, who should we bring onto our podcast? And I was telling Shayla and Blair, I'm like, oh my God, we need to bring on Bronwyn. She's amazing. I met her, like one of my mentors introduced me to her, brought her onto our podcast. She told us about this community that she's built. She invited us to this community. Last year, I quit my job because I hated it and I needed a job. Someone posted in this community a job that I then applied for and ended up getting. And then we applied for this application for this awards. We got it, and you're part of this community. And it is this tiny little seed I planted 7 years ago by going out of my way and connecting to someone who then connected me to all of these people. Until today, I am seeing the effects of that, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah, and I think the more you do that, the more, as you say, the more little seeds you plant, because obviously I've known Bronwyn through the work that we do with Cyberminds, and I got to meet Cyberminds through the work we do with the CSBR, the Cybersecurity and Business Resilience Policy Centre. So it's all the way these little, quick handshake, quick hello, what do you do? So, somehow
they do
in the future. And I love that. I love it when you either find that you already have a connection and you go, oh my gosh. And spoiler, we were going to have Bronwyn on this, but unfortunately, the one who sparkles from Ireland is not able to join us today. But maybe another time we'll do that. If you win again, which is obviously a possibility, then we'll do this next year. So is there anything else that you would like to share that you think is important, around this?
I think it's just, I think for me, like I've spoken to a lot of women who A, want to get into the industry and B, want to help other women. And I think for me, the key message is just keep going. Like there are times, whether you're in the industry or trying to break into the industry, where you feel like, oh, why am I bothering? Why am I doing this? Is this the right one? Is this even the right place for me? And I think when you get to that point, you just keep going and don't be shy to reach out to people. And, like I've spoken to people who said like, oh, I've reached out and they don't reply. And I'm always like, the right people will reply back to you. Like people who care will reply back to you. And, I get so many DMs on LinkedIn, but as soon as I see someone who's like, I really want to break into the industry, I will always reply back. So I think for me, it's like, just keep going and just be as visible as you can to these people, and they will help you, and you will get that role in cyber, and you will have these amazing careers. And when you do, just make way for other women to come in as well, because I think we're all successful and we uplift ourselves by uplifting other people. And I think that's really important.
Absolutely. And what a comment to end our conversation on. So we will do our best to uplift one another, and hopefully this uplifts the visibility a little bit for what you guys are doing. And obviously, hopefully in the future, we can all meet up and maybe do this again with the full complement.
That would be amazing. Maybe we could get you on our podcast, Rose. How about that?
I would love to.
That would be amazing.
I'd love to.
We could sort something out with that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, thank you, Roha. I really, really enjoyed our conversation. We're, one of those situations where I suspect could have kept the cameras rolling for quite a long time, but we're going to try and keep within 30 minutes. So thank you for your time. Really appreciate it, and congratulations again, and we look forward to keeping in touch and seeing what you guys are up to. And you must let us know when you've got news, because we now have the news flash that goes out on a Friday with a little roundup. Yes, we've got something new going on too. Been running for a couple of weeks, where we share a bit of the alumni news. So winners from the past, keep us posted on what you're up to, because we like to continue the love. We don't forget you. Just because we've moved on to another year, we don't forget you. So yeah, so that's all good. Fantastic. So just as a recap, my name's Rose Ross and I'm the Chief Trailblazer and founder of the Tech Trailblazers Awards. You can reach out and find us on the usual, the YouTubes, the LinkedIns and all the other good things. And just another big, great thank you to Roha for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.